Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Carol in House of Carson, getting ready for another almost full week of 9 days of healing and deep energy shifting. Deep healing and energy shifting. I'm just waiting till it's 10 o'clock my time. Good morning, Leah. How are you today? Good morning, Julie. Let me know where you're watching from today. I am in the Main, or on the Main Riviera in the tropics, and there's actually a storm brewing. I can hear it thundering and thundering up there. So today's theme I'm in the middle of doing 9 days of deep healing and energy shifting, and today is day number 6. We have 2 more to go. Last week we worked on our connection to soul, healing our heart, healing our connection to the divine feminine and masculine, and healing our connection to spirit. And people have been writing, and they have been having amazing shifts already. Unexpected money coming in, unexpected opportunities. Good morning, Amy. Good to see you. And so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Carolyn Hossa Carson. I'm one of the leading experts in the world in family constellations. I'm also the creatrix. Thanks. Yeah, this is one of my favorite dresses. I got this for Paul's birthday to take him out on a date. We went to a concert, so this is one of the few dresses I bought for myself, but I really like it. It's short and yeah, it's just very, it feels fiery and sexy and all of that. So thanks for the compliment. Good morning, Deborah. I'm also the creatrix of the Pleasure IQ, which is my proprietary system that's designed to guide my clients into the paradigm of paradise. And the paradigm of paradise is really a state of being where things flow, and especially around money and energy and love, where you have it easy, where you live in a paradise where you know how to make it easy for yourself. Good morning, Quincy. So, and a big part of getting into that paradigm is connecting to your core sexual power. There's a lot of confusion. Thanks for the compliments. This is one of my favorites I was just sharing. Your core creative sexual power has nothing to do with sex necessarily. It has nothing to do with another person. A lot of my clients, when they come to me, they have this really confused, and they think that their sexual power has to do with how many orgasms they can have, or how easy it is for them to have orgasms, or how easy it is for them to have sex in general. And none of that could be further from the truth. Your core creative sexual power really has to do with you and your own energy. We are all created from sexual energy through the masculine and the feminine, right? So that's why we worked on integrating or healing our connection to the feminine and the masculine first, because out of the marriage of the divine feminine and the masculine comes the core creative sexual power. That's how we are made and how we're birthed into this reality, right, in a physical form. And so in our life, we need this energy. It's an energy. It's a stream, a flow that is available to us, and we either allow it to flow through our body and in our body and through our nervous system, or we don't, right? So that's what core creative sexual energy is. And the reason why it's so important for us to be connected to it, and for us to be able to allow it, and for our body to be able to hold it and let it flow, is because the more you're able to do so, the easier it is for you to actually, how do I say this correctly? The easier it is for you to actually make the quantum leap, or stay in a high vibrational space, right? I've talked to you about how really everything that you want is already here, and it's here in the form of a parallel universe. And I literally imagine, I have this picture of different globes floating around us all the time. And the hard part is to get from where we are, if we're here right now, and need to get over there, because this is the universe where things are easy, and we know how to do it easily in this universe. The hard part is making the transition from here to there, because you actually have to go into nothingness, right? There's nothing, there's space, there's unknown, and the subconscious doesn't like that at all. And so it takes a tremendous amount of energy. You know, if you were a rocket ship and you needed to go to a different planet, it takes a lot of fuel to just get out of this atmosphere and through the sound barrier. And it's actually the same for quantum leaping. It takes a lot of energy to catapult yourself out of this universe and into or beyond the sound barrier and into the next stratosphere. I'm just checking my internet connection. Seem to be having troubles on one of my screens. If you are on that screen that's not working, you can also go to my personal profile. I'm streaming there from my phone, and that seems to be working better. I don't think it's Mercury retrograde, but it doesn't even let me open my internet connection right now. So if you're on the one that's not working, go to my personal profile. And, okay, somebody's here. Good. This one is still frozen. I'm connected to the right. I'm just gonna. It's completely frozen. Okay, I'm gonna keep going here, and I hope that you guys can find me on my personal profile. That seems to be working. So your core creative energy, your sexual energy, is very powerful energy, and when you're connected to that, that will help you make that quantum leap. And so a lot of us are not connected to this energy because generationally there's been shame and guilt put on sexuality in the first place, and then for most of us it's been very confusing, and we've had all shameful and sometimes even traumatic experiences around our own sexuality and that power. And I deeply believe that the reason why there has been so much shame and guilt put on sexuality is because the people in power, people that, the people in the know, they know exactly that a person who is connected to this power is unstoppable. And especially when two people come together, and they're in that power together, then you're really unstoppable. There's nothing that can stop you. But even if you're not in a relationship, connecting to your own core creative sexual power will help you tremendously in making the shift into a paradigm that's filled with ease and flow for you. So with that being said, let me give it one more try over here on my business page and see what's happening. Can't even post. Okay, I'm just going to keep going here, hoping that people will find me. And if not, I'll tag you guys and make sure you can find this after. I think it has to do with my laptop, possibly. It's totally wigging out. So thanks for my phone still working. So I'm going to say a prayer in a moment, and then I use these fields, colored fields. You can get yourself kitchen towels, washcloths, pieces of paper, magazines, anything that you can stand on. I'm just going to give you a minute. And then I'm going to say our prayer in invocation. Let me just see, it's giving me a message now. And then we will dive into doing the work today. We must be doing really powerful work today because my Facebook business page is completely wigging out right now. So that's always a sign. So I'm inviting you to close your eyes, taking a deep breath in, letting your belly soften and exhaling, letting go of anything and everything that came before our time together this morning, yesterday, the day before, and the week before, the months before, the year before, your entire past, just letting it all go. And then inhaling again, letting your belly soften and exhaling, letting go of anything and everything that still has to happen later today, tomorrow, rest of this week, rest of the month, rest of the year, your entire future, just letting it all go. And then inhaling one last time, letting your belly soften and exhaling, arriving in this present moment. And in this present moment, I'm speaking a prayer, I'm setting the intention for deep transformation and healing, and I'm affirming our ability to completely claim our connection to our core sexual power, to let go of any kind of fear that we have around this connection, and our ability to stay connected and use it as fuel for quantum leaping, to help us get from our current universe into the next, to help us make this transition through the stratosphere and through the sound barrier, and have the persistence and the fortitude to stay in faith, stay strong, until we land in the next universe that's filled with ease and flow. And so I'm grateful that we can know that we have this power and that we can connect to this power, and I'm grateful that we have all the tools and technology and everything that we need to do the work together this morning. And so I just let this intention and prayer be, knowing that it is carried out in joy and peace by simply saying, and so it is, amen. And it looks like we're back on both pages, so yay. You can go back to my profile if you want to watch the part that got blurred out. So I'm going to pick a piece for, I'm doing a collective constellation. If you want to do your own, you pick these pieces and then just step on them for yourself, and I will guide you through it. I'm going to do a collective one. I'm going to pick red for core creative sexual power collectively, and I'll pick the golden for the self. Just going to do it with the two pieces today. So pick two pieces, one for your self and one for core creative sexual power, and then you get to just place them on your floor. And if you're having trouble I can see it's not really working on the business page, come to my personal profile. It's working on there. So I'm going to just put these pieces on my floor now. And interestingly enough, there was a blue already laying here, so I'm just going to leave that there. I don't even know how it got there, but it's there. So it might be significant or it might not be significant. And then I put the core creative sexual power and the self right across from each other in the middle of the room. And actually I'm thinking I'm going to end the live on my page, and I'm going to just keep streaming from my phone since this is really not working very good. So let's see. I'm just going to switch over here. So come to my personal profile. Okay, this will make it easier a little too because my phone is lighter than the laptop. So put your pieces on the floor and then start by stepping onto the one that you chose for yourself. And in my case, that's the golden. I was just going to step onto the red, so there's a little bit of confusion because I was going to step onto red, which is the core creative sexual power. And so there's a little bit of a confusion between the self and the core creative sexual power. So I'm stepping onto the self now. And I actually feel very intermeshed with the red and the core creative sexual energy. I don't know what the light blue is over there, but it seems to be significant. So just see if there's any other pieces that you need to put on your floor if you're doing this as your individual constellation. I'm just stepping onto the core creative sexual power. As the core creative sexual power, I'm very clear. I don't feel intermingled. I feel like this dress. I feel very powerful, and I just feel like I'm moving like this the whole time. Lots of movement, like a pulsing. I don't have a lot of thought. I just have a lot of energy. Just going to step back onto the self again. So for the self, this is a little scary because I don't know quite how to connect into this pulse. I don't want to get swallowed up. I feel like if I get closer, I get swallowed up into this pulse, and then who would I be, and what would be? I feel like a fear of losing the ego or losing the self if I get too close to the core creative sexual power. I'm going to step also onto the blue. If you're stepping onto your own pieces, just feel into what they feel like. See if they need to talk to each other. See if they need to move. See if something else needs to come in. I am stepping onto the light blue, which was on an extra piece on the floor. It feels masculine. It feels like a specific man. I'm just asking myself who I am on this light blue. I definitely am significant, and I feel like a mix out of air and water, and I do feel male. I'm going to step onto the creative sexual power and see if that knows what the blue is. So it's funny because when I'm stepping under the core creative sexual power, that feels feminine. It feels like a fire and a pulsing, and yeah, maybe even the fire and the earth. And then the other two feel like the wind and the water. And so it feels like the elements. So it's almost like the core creative sexual power and this blue make up the four elements. Or the four elements have something to do with our connection to the core creative sexual power. That's as far as I can tell right now. I need to keep... I love family constellation so much because it's really a very investigative process. Like, I have no idea, right? I'm learning so much about the workings of the universe and truth, right? Because we're always connecting to the knowing field, and the knowing field is the field that is beyond time and space and just connected to everything in the container of truth. So I'm just going to step back onto the self. As a self, I'm curious now. I'm going to move a little bit into the middle, and I'm really intrigued about these two pieces. I think the pulsing and the fire and the earth pulsing of the creative sexual power has to somehow, feels like the water and the air, they have to merge together, and then I can connect. So it felt right to not connect with this pulsing energy. It was like, it just didn't feel quite right. I was afraid to get swallowed up whole, as I was saying. And so if you're doing your own constellation, and even if you're doing this as the recording, right, because this is out of time and space, it's energy work, it's just as powerful. If you're doing your own constellation, just keep moving and feeling into what's right for you. And so I'm just stepping back onto the core creative sexual power. And it's now like really kind of, it's almost like a fire wave. I'm taking the blue and kind of gobbling it up. It's almost like a fusion. I don't know how atomic fusion works, but it feels like a fusion where like this energy, this core creative sexual energy, is just like whoosh, taking this water and air and fusing it like self-fusion. So now I'm still undulating, but it's much softer. It's much more flowy, like water, and it feels very sweet. So this constellation seems to be much more about the energy of the co-creative sexual power than the self at the moment, right? So they're collectively, somehow there had been a split in co-creative sexual energy that had split all the elements from each other, and now all the elements are combined in this water, fire, earth, and air. And so let me step onto the self. And for the self now, this is much more accessible, because for me, as this collective self, it's easier for me to relate to water and air. And I do like the fire though, but just the fire was too scary and too much. And the earth always feels good to me too. So it was more about the fiery aspect that was too much. And now it actually feels really familiar, and the surprise on the self is that it's not what I thought it is. You know, it's, well, when I looked at it first and it was like this energy that was devouring or wanting to devour something, that was scary and I couldn't relate to it as much. Now, as it has integrated with these other elements, the surprise is that it feels really familiar actually, and it's nothing foreign, and really feels like, oh yeah, this is me. So I'm actually stepping onto the blue and the red. They have come together, and I'm putting the gold on top to basically fuse them all together. And so just as a warning, you know, the mind is not going to understand what we're doing here. Just know that we're doing deep energy shifting and sorting out in the constellation. What constellations reveal is things that are not in their right place, right? So the water and the air element belong to the fire and the earth element, so they were not in the right place together. It's their right place to be together, and then we can relate to it. And so the surprising insight today is that this is not very foreign, that we all have these four elements in us, and that we need these four elements to be highly creative people. And with the constellations, there's nothing that you have to do extra, right? This is energy work. It's done for you. The shift has been done through the movement. Basically, I am just out picturing the movement. I'm not doing anything. I'm just following the energy and make it visible by doing what I'm doing. It looks like I'm moving the pieces, but I'm just following as the energy is correcting itself. And it corrects itself because we're holding the space and the intention for the healing and the shift, and collectively putting our attention on it. So, you know, again, if you are wondering what this has to do with you having more ease with money, more ease in love, more ease in general, it has everything to do with it, because everything is energy. And the ease comes from you being in a different energetic space and state. And so if you have missed the last week, I encourage you to find the event. It's posted on my profile. I keep posting it every day. You can go to the event page. You can find the replays. Tell your friends about this. We have 2 more days, tomorrow and actually 3 more days. 3 more days. Yeah, we're on day 6. So we have 7, 8, and 9. And so look for my posts. I go live at the same time every day. And if you'd like to talk to me to help you see how you could get more of my help, and how, you know, to come up with a plan for you to really move out of your paradigm of struggle into your paradigm of paradise, just click the booking link that I've also posted with this live. And so with that, I wish you a blessed day. All my love to you, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.